Is this a legacy speech for the president he has been, or a campaign speech for the vice president who has served him for the last 3.5 years?
Well, President Biden is trying to have it both ways here. On the one hand, there's no doubt about it that this will be viewed as somewhat of a swan song, right? Given the fact that he's passing the torch essentially and then exiting stage left, quite literally, going on vacation to the West Coast, right? But at the same time, his aides insist that he will continue to be president. I mean, we've got a few issues going on in the world, geopolitical, Israel, Gaza, for example, et cetera. The last thing he wants to do is make himself more of a lame duck for the next 70-odd days.
We're going to talk, I'm sure, over the course of this hour about the many protesters expected in Chicago tonight who are here because of one issue. And that issue is developing today as we speak at this convention. Mario, what can you tell us about this breakthrough on a ceasefire? Benjamin Netanyahu has signed off on it. Hamas has not, and this feels really familiar.
This does. We've been here before a few times now, maybe a third time now. President Biden earlier a few days ago said this is the closest we've ever been. Again, holding out hope that we may get across the finish line this time. I do want to say, if this does happen during a convention week, what a boon it will be for the party, right? As a few blocks away from where we are right now, protesters are staging at Union Park in order to make a big display about this. So what happens if they do have a breakthrough right now?
Well, of course, it will come down to Hamas, and that is exactly what the Secretary of State Antony Blinken had to say about this when he announced the progress that had been made earlier today.
In a very constructive meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu today, he confirmed to me that Israel accepts the bridging proposal, that he supports it. It's now incumbent on Hamas to do the same. And then the parties, with the help of the mediators, the United States, Egypt, and Qatar, have to come together and complete the process of reaching clear understandings about how they'll implement the commitments that they've made.
So until when, and that it actually isn't even a when, it's an if Hamas does the same, Shruti, we can probably still expect these protests to continue. Just how aggressive do you expect these protests could get in the city of Chicago when everyone is reminding us of 1968?
Well, that's an unknown, and I think everyone is hoping for the best. But if there isn't a protest, if there aren't all the things that people have been preparing for here in Chicago, I think this will be one of those things where they say, well, this is more like 1996 and not like 1968, because Chicago has had two very significant Democratic conventions here. 1968 clearly made history because of all the tumultuous nature of the protests and the youth coming out into the streets. 1996 is something that Democrats really point to as a very successful convention. So I think they're trying to figure out which one it's going to be. And if there aren't any type of problems, then they're going to say, look, we had a repeat of 1996.
There's no arms embargo on Israel in the party platform that they're going to be voting on a short time from now. This was a demand by the protesters. So presumably, even if there's ceasefire news tonight, they're still going to be marching. Kailey, I think to your point, the coalition to march on the DNC includes about 200 groups rallying in support of Gaza. How large is this going to be?
I mean, I think it could be tens of thousands. It could be a lot smaller. But just let's also remember that this isn't the only issue that people are bringing to Chicago. I think reproductive rights, labor rights are also issues that people are going to be marching on. So this is a very significant development, obviously. But let's also not forget some of the other national issues that are going to be coming to the fore here in the city.
Well, of course, one of those national issues is the economy. This also happens to be an issue that she's traditionally, and Biden before her, performed more poorly on in polling than Donald Trump has. And this convention is coming in the aftermath of her outlining of her economic policy agenda in North Carolina last week. We spoke about that agenda earlier today with Democratic Senator LaFonza Butler of California, and here's what she had to say about it.
Yes, she has put forth an ambitious, I believe, practical approach that is about how do we listen to what the American people need from government and actually make plans to act. Are the plans going to turn out exactly the way that that she put forth in her proposal in North Carolina? This is all going to be a process. She said herself what she wants to do is bring stakeholders together.
So the senator there, Mario, describing it as practical. Others have criticized some of these policies as potentially inflationary. Donald Trump is now calling her Comrade Kamala, suggesting some of her ideas look a lot like communism. Should we expect her to dig deeper into this or other policy areas this week to potentially walk anything back? Or is this going to be very broad strokes about the future of the country and freedom, as we've heard from her freedom?
Yeah, I think what you'll see is a lot of the broad strokes. One of the things that I'd like to key in on that the senator said was listen to the American people. What the Biden administration did for the last year and a half or so was defend its policies, right? And defending its policies on the campaign trail seemed to go, it was unheard by the voters. In some ways, it was viewed as insensitive even, right? Because you're telling the voters that, hey, I've got this great economic record, and then they're going to the grocery store with 25% prices. There was a disconnect. What you see Kamala Harris doing here, even with the policy, is essentially changing the message of the party, right? I hear you. I understand your pain. And maybe that's the hope for the Democrats, that breaks through with voters.
You know, it's interesting as we sit here in Chicago, there's a potential image makeover that could come with this convention. Donald Trump continues to compare the crime statistics in Chicago to what happens in Afghanistan. He said this again just a couple of days ago. This is a massive opportunity for the city to kind of change its image in the eyes of the American people. Can it do that at the same time as handling all the complications we've been talking about?
I mean, I don't know if it has a choice. I think all those things come at the city, the mayor, and the city council and the residents here. What I will say is that I've been covering Chicago and the region for a really long time, and I think this is an area where, whether it's the city of Chicago or the state of Illinois, it is an area where Republicans like to point out that here is a place that fiscally or crime-wise, that Democrats rule, and they've gotten it wrong. So this is an example that they try to show, hoping to get votes, I think, in other parts of the country.